Greetings everyone, this is Lodrik and this is a game War in the Pacific Advanced Edition, and today we will check the next turn of the match THG versus Lodrik. The takeover game from original THG. And today we will check, I think, the 19th April 1942. So we are normally still in agreement of not attacking each other. With all the accidents already happened before, like a Navy strike on Luganville and attacking the airbase in north of Thailand. So it is more or less, I think more or less a gentleman agreement, not to attack each other, only using maybe submarines and clean up operations. At least I try to not really strike aggressively with anything. We can see here still a lot of submarines, and even submarines in Singapore port and next to Singapore port. So here are normally everywhere submarines. And for unknown reasons, THG or whatever never really set up any harbor minefields and like this. So Singapore have no mine defense and no patrol craft, and I try to start with this, but you cannot normally create minefields overnight and need also days or even weeks to completely create them, because the Japanese output of mines is not so great. So yeah, like nearly all of the Japanese industry is limited on numbers. You can produce some good stuff, you start with some good stuff, but the replacement, you get some destroyers, like 1 destroyer per month, 3, 4, I think 5 light cruisers, but no, not really much more. Anyway, now we can see at least already 2 submarines in Singapore. Here is now a tuna, but these patrol boats, they are really often not so successful for this submarine stuff, but at least you get detection, and it helps a little. Yeah, this is now, you can see south of Baker Island, close to Kantong Island, and here's a small American task force hunting for cargo ships, looks like, or I don't know, pass by, who knows. And because we have a normal non-attack agreement, I have here only and also related, there's simply no fuel, so I cannot even choose it, even if I want. And all I had more or less ready is a light cruiser, so I add the light cruiser to my cargo ships, and of course this will not end well, and it is like it is. And the Japanese light cruisers are also not so great. So, and but more important is that, of course, cargo ships are cargo ships. They don't stand a chance against something like this. At least we have here some hits on the allied ships, but no real heavy damage. Like this cargo ships, they have no heavy damage. They will normally go down. And it looks like here at least 2 task forces, and I don't think that the cargo ships really survive this. Yeah. I don't really know if it's exactly the same task force, maybe, but now there's no fire more, so, and the cargo ships are still heavy fire, heavy damage. This is of course dead. And on fire. This may be okay. We can later check how this task force looks like now. Making some airstrikes. This is some mock-up operation here because there are some Chinese units still behind the line. Same here in Sumatra. There's still some Dutch and Chinese forces still making guerrilla warfare. Now we have some navy strikes here. It's to Osthaven, Batavia. I mean, not that these airplanes really can carry much stuff. They can carry 250 kilobombs. So, yeah, it's a navy strike. I don't know. It's not up to me. And here again, P-40s can also carry a 100 kilogram bomb. Wait, maybe this is a Dutch airplane, because normally it's strange because I think it's normally American airplane, but maybe under Dutch command, because if it's American plane they will normally use, I think, pound bombs, not kilogram bombs. I think the only one use kilogram are the Dutch and the Japanese. Anyway, so this both they get a one bomb hit and a shell hit. So this airplane's coming in. You can see in strafing attack mode. So only if you fly in this 100 feet, you drop your bomb, and at the same time you can use your forward firing guns. So this is the shell hits. The shell hits are now from the, I don't know, I think they have 50 kilo caliber guns, or heavy machine guns. So one of the cargo ships go down, and then the second cargo ships go down. And this is now port of Singapore, and here's the hero, and there's a torpedo hit from I think this is this Dutch submarines. They are normally good, and there's a, so you can see this Dutch submarine. There looks like two different torpedo tubes. They have small torpedoes and big torpedoes. So we get one big torpedo hit and one smaller standard. I don't know if you call it standard, but let's say big and small torpedo hits. And now we try to attack the submarine and we hit it. But the carrier have now 2 torpedo hits, is heavy damage and on fire. But I mean, luckily you can say you are still in Singapore, so maybe you can still save the ship. And this thing is also not completely destroyed, because normally if the carrier is cannot operate more the airplanes, the air wings will automatically take off and try to land somewhere nearby, like emergency takeoff and landing. And this not happens, so the ship is still intact. Mainly I think because we are in Singapore port. So this is now this attack, and now the Chinese completely give up. Yeah. So all 4 are destroyed. The Chinese. So this threat is now over. Not a really threat, but disturbance in the order of the Chinese area controlled by the Japanese. And we get a destroyer, one replacement. So now we are at 20th April 1942, and the kill ratio is nearly nothing happened, only 1 operational losses for the Allied. So one Catalina had a, I don't know, written off, whatever. So not really active, and ship sunk this turn was... So 3 Japanese cargo ships, each 7, and 1, I mean, I don't know, official, if you can... Officially we killed the American destroyer. But I hear no sinking sound, I see nothing sinking, so I don't really believe that this destroyer go down. But maybe the game says this. For sure we can say that we lost here now 7 so-so cargo ships. I mean, with a speed of 14, I normally prefer always this kind of ships. They have always they are 1 hex faster per pulse, or yeah, half day turn. So you can normally reach... I normally use a 10 speed cargo ships for always only for something like this, very short distance stuff. Or normally if you take the Philippines, you can also, you have here many bases with resources. For everything what is short I use this. And the 12 I normally use for long distance shipping, but if it's like industry goods and so supplies, resources, like standard shipping here from Japan to China, like, and the 14 I often convert to troop transport cargo ships, and this kind of ships I normally use for moving army units, base equipment and all this stuff. So let's check the carrier. So the carrier is now here, and it's have a little fire, but the big issue is now of course the flotation. With 72 it's very big hole, and they are most of major. So normally what you have to do is like take these air wings and transport them to the base, and then they will be damaged, but normally 1 or 2 days you can get them ready. Better than losing them. So transport to Singapore. Pick. Transport to base. Singapore. And transport to base. Good. This is for the airing, so the carrier is now empty. But because there is fire on the ship, even if it's so small, even 1 point fire is enough, then the repair type is firefighting, and then you cannot repair it. But it's inside the dock, inside the port at least, so it cannot be attacked more from a submarine. Then now you must make an airstrike, but a port airstrike, so you cannot use torpedoes. But I would roughly say that the ship with this kind of damage is normally out of action maybe for 4, 5, 6 months, so I would say it's out of the game. You can normally more or less forget it. But it doesn't matter at the end. So and the rest of the carrier units can now disband. Boom. No. So I can say, this is of course lucky. Sometimes, for this you have submarines, and this is not wrong to use them. The issue is more or less normally only that, of course, if you run this kind of game, you of course all these major bases like Saigon, Bangkok, Palm Bang, later Batavia, Surabaya, Balikpapan, Tarakan, here Manila, after you take Clarkfield and Bataan. But of course Singapore is at least the number 1 priority normally to have here some mines. But I just start, because you can see no mines. I transport all the stuff here out, but it needs time to arrive here, and it needs time to build up the minefield. So it's of course super stupid again. Means don't understand the game. Someone tried to play the game but not understand the basics. And because this is normally not possible. If you have your 300 mines, uh, at least the possibility that a submarine try to sneak in this hex is with a very high risk to be damaged and often also destroyed, because submarines flotation damage is a very bad combination. But anyway, it is like it is. I mean, not really the end of the game, because I mean the game is already at the end. But anyway, so I bring now this. We arrive here, so normally the next thing is to do is to recreate the units. You can check this. If I touch this torpedo bombers, and then you can oversee they belonging to the Suyo carrier, and they are the second air wing of this carrier originally, but this is only part A. So someone breaks this unit down, and then you can check here unit OOB is organization, or I don't know more, but it's something like the how do they call this, parent sub unit on organization, but I don't know why it's a OOB. Yeah, it shows you at the end what is the parent or the original unit. This is this unit. Out of 30, he can have maximum 30 airplanes. Now I have a size of 0 because it's not active. This unit is more or less broken in this ABC. They are now all in Singapore, so you can normally recreate this unit. But I think it's now not possible because one of the units is maybe the broken unit from just now before. Yeah. So I think I must wait one turn to create this new overhead unit, because I really don't think that to break a unit is normally never really good, I would say. It's maybe for some very special operations, but normally I always try to keep them together. Yeah, maybe. Wait, maybe the one is not independent. Torpedo bomber. This is a C. No, this is Suho. Torpedo bomber. Here you can divide the unit, but I think this makes normally independent. Royo. Divide unit. It can also be because this is silhouette, and this is often related to I think if you don't have enough supplies in the base, at least normally you need 20,000 supplies to run a base proper. We also have here a big issue with aviation support, because for some reasons there are here no aviation support. I try to bring it down because I more or less I disassemble this airbase because it makes no sense. I don't need here airbase if there are 100, 200 fighters. And I call them back mainly first to Bangkok, and from Bangkok now we have here enough, then I can bring some of this aviation to Singapore. But mainly I must normally bring the aviation from Japan, I think. We have here still, here's 1000, I mean, let's say here's 400 aviation you can take out. I mean, this is not so much. Maybe here a little. Depending, so I need more aviation support in Singapore, and I have to carry this, and maybe we can run here in the future more air wings. I shortly only check if I can regroup any unit, because the best is normally to click here, but they are all broken pieces, and I think the main issue is here. This you can rebuild now, so you build this and then the unit is together. Okay, was there something else? No. Divide unit. Surabaya. So there is some stuff in Surabaya. And other stuff is in Singapore. So normally, yeah, it's okay. Nothing more. Divide. Yeah. I think this is all already. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Good, so nothing to recombinate here, and well, the carrier is out of action. Next turn I will know, or I can check again, and then I will know what is the repair time, but I would say at least 4 months plus. And because here's also the dock is only 50,000 and 20,000 is now already used. You can see there's a lot of cargo ships, but this is all pier side. So here we have APDs are blocking here, some cruiser is here, some other destroyer is in shipyard, let's say repair mode. So this is all shipyard stuff. Yeah, so these units already block 26,000. But normally you can, if you see like this, it's not must be, but I think if it's major damage, no, it's not a must. So you must check it by hand, sometimes by hand more or less. I don't know if there's a better possibility, but if you have this destroyer, this is a refitting. Yeah, because it's a refit, it must be in shipyard. This cannot change. But this is only in repair. So you can normally change this to pier side, but you can see after that it cannot fix here the damage. So we must keep it in shipyard. Maybe the light cruiser. Yeah. This you can normally change out of the shipyard and go to normal pier side mode. It will still fix the damage because the major damage is not over 5. So it's only up to 5. A port can fix the damage with pier side damage. And then you simply have 7,000 tons less in the shipyard. Now it's only 19,000 tons, but I think the rest I cannot take out. This is a refit. Need 40 days. Okay. And this is also major damage. So, good. So I have now 30,000 tons free, and they think the carrier is like 20,000. 70,000. So normally, even if we can normally keep the light cruiser inside the shipyard and still fix this, but yeah, a little pity. Good. Yeah. Normally what I also do, I would normally now always check every turn if there's something I need to fix. Like this is, it will not normally completely fix, so I always say, okay, go to pier side 2 days and fix all damage, fine. And at the same time I can also give the upgrade order, because I would always upgrade them if possible. Here one more. And here it will not komisch. Then I put you in shipyard, it's only 2 days. And the destroyers are not so big. Readiness, no, stand down, it's faster. Stand down. This is in readiness. We can keep it like this. This is a sub hunter. This is a CA, so it's a shallow water sub hunter. Good that we have this guy. Also stand down. You don't must often. This only. I would now, I mean, I stand down all this carrier because I have to wait for other equipment. So you can of course maybe say, I don't want to send them down, because if you send them down, then for 1 or 2 days they are always now in the yeah at the pier side fixed, and you cannot take them out. But I also don't see a big issue with this. Readiness, stand down. And the other issue, I also like to do this because then they are simply out of the port in this overview, and I will not later by mistake add them to some task force. I normally like more to fix the ships as much as possible and not run with half damaged ships. Of course, everything up to the damage of 10 is maybe not a big issue, but yeah, this is only my play style like this. Oh wait, here's the APD. Yeah, we want to upgrade this. Okay, good. Here also some battleships, but they are fine. And more, but this is okay. So all is now here under repair. Only this small sub chaser I will normally use, because we must hunt this submarines, and this is the repair time. So you can see, or better maybe more type. So in 2 days we get this 3 main carriers back, and I think because we can now keep this first in shipyard, because it's only 3 days, maybe we fix it fast, and then we still have enough capacity left. Yeah, 17,000 is this, or 18,000 is this carrier, so we can add it still in the shipyard, and we have not a over capacity. So all fine, but we must only wait that the firefighting is over next turn. So then we can fix here all these issues. Fine. Okay. So far so good. And now we need normally more sub-hunters because there are still submarines here. So I normally will use now this, maybe I use them both together. And then I will tell them go for patrol. And maybe I go here up. Here down. Oh no, too far. Okay. Then we only go up to here. Maybe up to here. Then we go back to Singapore and have a day rest to fix system damage, refuel minimum, and then we can go out again. I think this is a typical setup for me. I always have the third point back in my port to keep the system damage low. You can also let them run non-stop, and if they are running out of fuel, or if the system damage gets too big, they return automatically to port. I think both works. Good. What else we can check? Here was I think as airstrike. So this cargo ship gets a hit and is on fire. Well, cannot change now. We have still some units here, and we are here on the way normally to unload the units to take the base, so that we can get rid of these 2 Dutch forces. This is I think the other cargo ship. Here's also, here the damage looks not so big, because I think this was only the 100 kilogram bomb. Yeah, the 100 kilogram bomb, but head fire, have impact, but not too critical. It's not enough to really sink this kind of cargo ships immediately, let's say this. But it's good if we are near to the port, So next turn we can unload here the units, and then we can increase here the striking force. Oh, what else? Anything else? Anything else? Because still a lot of stuff is moving. Here my forces are still trying to reach back to my main bases, so these two some base to yeah, heal and reinforce. Here's a block force coming down. I think if I remember right, I think at the beginning I kick out this Chinese force, force them to cross the river, and now they're back to try to cross again my units. But that's normally not a big issue, because 2 units are never enough force, so we normally will simply crash them. That is not a real issue. Here this broken Xi'an army, because this army was originally here on the had the task to take Xi'an, but I don't know, it was a little over optimistic, because you can see an attack force of 1300, and here was, I think, I don't know how many units here was, but I think like something like at least 2,000-3,000 attack value, I would say, if I remember right. This was, I think, 250,000 or like this, a crazy high number. So like I said, if you don't understand the game, then I mean, or you ignore the functions you can use, or if you don't have one scout, and if you don't want to use recon, and if you, I don't know, it's like a test game, I would say. This is all a lot of testing. Try finding out. Normally this is I think for this is okay. You run the first game, you find out what is working, what is not working, and then you say, okay, I understand it, now reset, start again. But I think this is more to describe this kind of game style. It's simply the first step. You learn to walk, but you cannot start a race with this. If you want to start a race, then you must already know how to walk. But in this, I think this is more like you learn to walk, and after you understand it, you go to the line and say, okay, now start the match. Okay. But it's not the problem of THG normally, because I mean, THG took the challenge and say, let's start the game, and looks like that THG learn how to use the game, at least better, and others maybe not. But anyway, past is past. So what I do is now more or less I call here base forces, and also this overall command of the Guangdong army, and I try to bring them here, so I get more support in this hex. This HQs also will call in additional supplies if there are supplies. The HQs not create supplies out of air and love. They only can call in the supply and make it possible to concentrate the supplies in the hex and in the space, and then all these units can try to consume the supplies, and more or less they consume supplies, and they can reactivate their disabled units to active units, or they can also ask for replacements or for upgrade units. Because you can see here is normally we need 108 Japanese infantry squads, but so far we only have 65 ready, 24 are disabled, and the rest is missing. Also support is missing here. But you can see that the support is 90. I think this is the 110 is green. Yeah, because I think the unit require normally 110, and this is, I think, available. But this is often, this green number is often related because your army HQ is here in support. Here's also other HQ, but this have only 44. So most of the support stuff is broken. So it can go up to 80. Okay, but we arrive here, and this is the reason why we can normally put this all in first in combat. because we have here 100 engineers. Then maybe can go for rest. Go ask everyone go for rest. But then you can see that engineers all disappeared because if the engineer unit is on rest, the engineers will not work. So it's a. I think there is no function. Yeah, normally you can do it like this. Now we're all on rest. Now we unactivate all units. Then we activate all engineers, but we don't see them. Yeah, sometimes I think because here are all army guys. Yeah. So there are engineers in these units. I don't know where. Here. Here are some engineers, but they are still fighting forces. So normally I won't call here in engineers because I normally must here. I need fort level. I need airfield. The fort level mainly to secure this location because this is a front line. So also why here is no fort level. I mean it's a frontline hex. Normally of course you need your fort, especially because here is a clear hex, so you will not get any defense bonus here. So you need frontline. Yeah. Anyway, too far, too much. And but we have here additional forces coming in, and also air stuff, so flag stuff, and THG, the radar, and then we must create the airbase. So we need your fighters, fighter covers, and let the units rest. And if everything is ready, then maybe we can try to do something. Maybe attack Xi'an or take this army and go somewhere else. Okay. More stuff? I don't know. Yeah, I think last time at the end I choose I think something. I say this is now the setup for the army stuff. So I start here one additional the jack. One factory I change to jack. And I also think I don't know more. I think the EDA I keep running because we still have this engine type, because the EDA is this early engines we don't produce this more, but we have as soon as you start with 2,300 in the pool, and I mainly need simply something to fit my bomber forces. So even if this is only a school and training airplane, it's better than nothing to have first. And I also think I changed one factory to Helen, only to produce a little of this cheap Helen stuff. But the problem is there's not enough supplies to really ramp up the factory fast. It will be maybe a little hard, but the supply situation is not the best here. Anyway. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Yeah, here. We had also a battle here. Yeah, here. Kantong Island. So the light cruiser is now damaged, a little on fire, so must return to a base. You also can see that there was an upgrade, but no one ever starts this upgrade. Not that it is a really great upgrade, but question is why you don't upgrade your ships. I mean, this is a purely upgrade only for anti-aircraft stuff and not a big issue. But it need only 7 days, so I would normally recommend it. If there's an upgrade possible, I would try to do it, even if it's have not a big impact. The next upgrade here is maybe better, then you get this radar. But it's first in April 43, so it's a little far away. Anyway, this ship is now badly damaged, and the cargo ship is here heavy on fire, so luckily there was nothing on board. I normally use this unit to pick up here a unit, because here is a broken Navy Guard stuff, but normally they belonging all to I try to recombine them to get a proper unit. This kind of broken units make no sense from my point of view, because they are simply too weak for anything. So for maybe for emergency situation you can say break it down, but then we must talk about emergency situation and not for some setup situation. So I try to really bring them normally back to one location. Comarc or Luganville is normally the best. Here in Canton Island, and also this island is completely lost for me, because it's have no connection. There's no fuel, there are no units here, so it 20 attack value will not help, and even this is simply not enough. So if I could, I would simply say if I can get them back for free to Lagi or Luganville. This was normally my attempt to bring them back here, but yeah, somehow we get intercepted, and now these units cannot do much. They only can go back to Canton Island and go there, and then how did he say? They must first have firefighting. Here's a port. And here's a little naval support. This will normally help with this firefighting and also with the repair stuff. Because if I remember right, there's not really much major damage, so you can normally fix this mostly in the port, but it will need long time. So, and yeah, good. Anything else? I'm not sure. So here we pick up some forces. Luckily this one gets not attacked, and I bring them back to Luganville. I don't know. I also try to install here a base, because for my military tactical thinking it makes sense to have here also an air base and a small port, because this is a true port, and you can make here an airbase of 4 is I think enough. It's simply a stepping stone between this. You can see from Rabul, Shortlands to Lagi, then here to how to pronounce this I really don't know. Netni, and then you can go to Luganville, Etefé, Comarc. Then you have always the thinking is that you have always a base gets backed up or backed by other base. So if you have in each of these bases, maybe not in, at least you have some aviation support. You don't must have in every base some torpedo bombers with the air HQ. But if you have at least in Comarc one, and then you may, or Nomar normally, and then in Luganville, but you have also aviation support in Comarc and then Efete, then you can always, if something gets broken or you must shift something around, then you can at least have an option to fly, because the distance is not so far. And anyway, so I try to build here something, because this is really a little far away from every support, and I just try to bring up to Lagi to build here something. So I bring you some engineers in, some aviation support, but I still have no fuel. So, and my supply situation is still shitty. And Shortlands is I forget Shortlands now, because if I start with Shortlands I will never be here in Luganville somewhere. So I maybe skip Shortlands. I try to get Rabul up, but you can see 10,000 supplies is nothing. Still no supplies here. Far too less fuel, so still need much longer time. Yeah, okay. Patrol ship. Okay. Yeah, I think this is first enough for today. We will see. I will try to bring a little more organization to this game, but we will see. Maybe end of the month or something. If like I said, I think it's a really maybe interesting to I mean, I will for sure try to organize that at least someone can play this game, because I took over, it was normally totally broken. And you can still see, if you don't get your logistic under control, you cannot do anything. So you need here more supplies. And I think the supplies are coming. Oh, they're still loading. Yeah, they're still loading. Still loading supplies, shipping them to Singapore, so still need more time. Yeah. This unit cannot dock because the port is already full. This unit completely more or less blocks the port. And yeah, because this is only a port of 4 and here is no Navy unit. I think this port normally starts with a Navy HQ. Let me show you again, because yeah, so you have here in Crew 2 Navy HQs with 240 each, and a port of 9. So you have this port of 9 plus 610 Navy support stuff. I would recommend it at least to take one of these Navy HQs out and bring it somewhere else, because they are simply a bonus for loading, unloading, and I think even repair. I'm not so sure with the repair, but at least for loading and unloading all kind of stuff they will support the port. But it must be a true port, so it must be at least you must have here at least a 1. If there's a 0, then it's not a true port, like Miri is not a true port. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I just get the turn today, so I just give back the battle file to THG, and I think the next 1 or 2 days I will organize here a little more stuff, and then I give it back to THG, and then we see again. And what I mean is, if no one won't take over, then I will continue play this game. But if you really maybe you're a little new to the game, but you still want to try something, then I think it's no big issue. You can ask THG in this Discord chat or whatever if you maybe can take over. But I will at least try to organize here maybe the next 10 turns more. And if no one won't take over, it's also fine, then I also can play this. But it's for me, I learn nothing out of this game. With my Dojo game, I'm more or less at the same time now. So I think Dojo, we are now 5 months in real time, we play 5 months. But we arrive at the same, more or less, I think we are now at 9th or 10th of April 1942. So you can roughly say, I mean, we are not exactly 1-to-1, but if you make 2-day turns, and if everyone try to finish his turn in latest 48 hours, then you can keep up with the time more or less. And because it's this kind of game, for me at least, it is not good to have too much gap between the turns. But this is mainly related because everything on the map I keep in my memory. I write nothing down. I don't make any notes. So, and of course, this is a little handicap. If you have no notes and you keep everything in your mind, then after some time, simply you will forget some details. And you will maybe misunderstand, you forget some stuff, and this is not working well for me. But if I keep it all in mind, I have always normally, if I open the game and it's not too long ago, like 3-4 days ago, I normally remember everything, and I can really rush to the game, and I don't know, I need 2-3 hours for a turn if I want. But everyone have a different game style. Okay, good. Anyway, so I only mean, if you are interested in the game and you have at least some experience, maybe not totally new to the game, and you want a challenge, I think in this situation I will try to bring it to a situation it is possible to use. But you can maybe use this for your own experience. And I would say it doesn't matter more what happened here now. I don't see. I mean, you must only be understanding that you cannot win the game, but you can have fun and you can learn experience. I think this is a good thing. But for me, I don't learn any experience because if this game is maybe now in 43, then I would say, okay, it makes maybe sense to learn something end game stuff, or not really end game, but mid game stuff. But no, I think there's nothing. And for me, it is simply too far away from a normal setup, because this setup for the Japanese is really a beginner setup. And if you play the game and you are now in this situation, I mean, I don't want to say it's too bad, but I would simply say you messed up already, and you make a lot of mistakes. But it is really not THG's problem or mistake. He made nothing wrong. So, and I think it's not fair maybe for him to more or less stop this game now. I mean, he won. That I would say he won, but of course he also liked to finish this game, or at least play it a little longer. So, like I said again, if no one want to take over, I can play it. But if you are interesting and if you can, maybe say you know the basics of the games and you will not make any too stupid wrong commands. I mean, like, you can of course crash this game now, and in 1 week you more or less sink your all the Japanese units. But I think this is not then more fun. It must be a little more like you have a real motivation and interest to play the game. So, but let me know, or let us at the end normally THG know. The next 10 turns, I think for sure I better manage here a little more. And then we can see. But if no one will take over, it's okay. I can also play it a little longer. So, this is all. See you all. Bye bye.